For 30 years, it was called the wickedest city on earth. Then, one bright morning, God, or the sea, sent it straight to the bottom. Port Royal, Jamaica. In its day, the richest port in the New World, a town of gold, rum, and gunpowder built on a thin finger of sand. This is the true story of a city that grew fat on piracy, and the 3 minutes in 1692 that swallowed 2/3 of it whole. England seized Jamaica from Spain in 1655 and threw open its harbor to anyone who could fight. And the men who came were privateers, legal pirates, hunting Spanish gold. Their plunder flowed ashore and stayed there. Within a generation, Port Royal was the storehouse and treasury of the West Indies, gold and silver passing through faster than anywhere in the English world. 6,500 people packed onto 50 acres of sand, over 2,000 buildings, shoulder to shoulder, and nowhere on earth was more devoted to sin. They called it the wickedest city on earth. And they had the numbers to prove it. A drinking house for roughly every 10 souls in town. In one single month, 40 new tavern licenses. One building in 4 was a tavern or a brothel. Rum, dice, and coin ran together with the sailors' gold. A pirate could burn a year's plunder here in a single night, and most of them did. And the man who ruled it all had once been a pirate himself, Sir Henry Morgan, who sacked Panama, then somehow became a knight and lieutenant governor of the very island he'd terrorized. Morgan drank himself to death in 1688 and was buried with full honors in the town cemetery, out on the sand. Remember that grave. The sea had plans for it. Preachers warned the city that God would punish its sins. They were laughed out of the taverns. And Port Royal had one fatal flaw its people never understood. The whole town was built on loose, wet sand. The 7th of June, 1692, a hot, clear morning. In a house on the waterfront, the town's rector sat down to a glass of wine with the president of the council. It was 11:43. Then the ground groaned. The first shock rolled through the town like a wave passing under a ship. The rector felt it and knew at the second shock was worse, and with the third, the sand did the unthinkable. Soaked with seawater, it turned to liquid, and the solid streets of Port Royal began to flow like water. The earth opened and closed like a mouth. Eyewitnesses saw whole streets and the people on them sucked straight down into the sand, some crushed as it snapped shut again. Along the waterfront, The great wharves, the heart of all that wealth, sank at once. In about 2 minutes, 9 parts in 10 of the city were gone beneath the harbor. And then the sea itself rose up. It drew back from the drowning town and came roaring in as a wave, sweeping over the ruins and the survivors alike. A warship in the harbor, the frigate Swan, was lifted clean over the drowned buildings and dropped among the wreckage, and dozens of desperate people clung to her hull and lived. When the water settled, most of Port Royal simply was not there. 2/3 of the wickedest city on earth, 33 acres of streets, homes, and treasure, lay under the sea. About 2,000 people died in those minutes, and it was only the beginning. The quake had torn open the seaside graveyards. Now the drowned town's living survivors floated among the risen dead, thousands of corpses and shattered coffins washing back and forth in the harbor. And somewhere in that flooded ground was the grave of Sir Henry Morgan. The cemetery had slid into the sea. The pirate who ruled Port Royal was swallowed by it. His body was never found. The survivors' ordeal was not over. In the weeks that followed, injury, foul water, and fever swept the camps. Perhaps 3,000 more died, more than the earthquake itself had taken. To the people who lived through it, there was no mystery. This was God's judgment, the wickedest city on earth, dragged to hell for its sins. Whether you believe that or not, Port Royal never rose again. They tried to rebuild. A fire finished much of what was left in 1703. Across the water, they founded a new town, Kingston, and Port Royal faded into a quiet fishing village on the sand. But the wickedest city on earth was not gone. It was down there, preserved. Whole streets, whole buildings, resting on the harbor floor exactly where they fell, under 12 feet of water. In the 20th century, divers and archaeologists from Texas A&M mapped it. An underwater Pompeii, frozen at the moment of the disaster. Cups still on tables. Shoes still on floors. And in 1959, from the mud of the harbor, they raised a single pocket watch. Its hands had stopped forever at 17 minutes to noon, the exact instant the city died. Legends say Port Royal's pirate gold still lies buried in the drowned streets. The truth the divers found was quieter: clay pipes, wine bottles, the ordinary things of a doomed morning. A city can drown in 3 minutes. Its gold can outlast its people. And the sea keeps its secrets far better than any pirate ever did. Port Royal was the pirates' greatest city and their greatest grave. But it wasn't their first stronghold. For that, we sail west to the most dangerous island in the Caribbean, Tortuga. Follow the channel.